Hello everyone, I'm Jan Figueroa, your ASUN social media correspondent. Good morning everyone, my name is Jan and I'm here at the ASUN Cross Country Championship. Good evening everyone, I'm Jan Figueroa and tonight I'm here with Avante Mullins, sophomore out of FGCU. I'm here with FGCU's outside hitter, Courtney Van Loo. I'm here with Brent Lieber from the Lisbon Vices. I'm here with Casey Goodwin from the Liberty Flames. I'm here with Rob Leveroni, who finished 6th overall. I'm here with Lauren Chastain of the Kennesaw State Owls. So what is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Running with Friends. Today, I have the pleasure of talking to another D2 legend. I'm talking two-time NCAA champ, 7-time All-American, 2-time D2 record holder. Just by saying that, I'm sure you guys already know who it is. But today, I have the pleasure of talking to Christian Noble from Lee University. How's it going, man?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Let's get right into it. So obviously, people see you. People have seen all the great things you've accomplished at Lee. They see you breaking all these D2 records, but obviously everyone starts somewhere. And you started back in high school. You were a 1455 cross guy, 410 miler, 904 2 miler, and a Foot Locker finalist. I'm talking with that kind of resume. I think we can both agree that those times probably nowadays aren't as impressive because these high school kids nowadays are insane. But back then, in you graduated in 2016? No, you graduated
2016.
Yeah, you graduated in 2016. Back then, those were some legit times. So you obviously had D1 potential coming out of high school. Did you get recruited by any D1 schools coming out of high school?
Yeah, I talked to a few Division I schools. I didn't take any visits. They all wanted to do visits after cross season, but I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way going into track season. I didn't want to do visits and all that hassle during the season. So I wanted to make my decision in the fall, and if teams weren't willing to do visits, then just wasn't interested.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously everyone knows you decided to go to Lee University. You went D2 over D1. Was there a particular, obviously you talked about the visits, but was there any other particular reasons why you kind of chose Lee and why you decided to go D2 over D1?
Yeah. Coach Morgan, we talked a lot, and he'd call me weekly and just talk about training or how the season's going. And then he had me down on a visit, and we just got along super well. We just clicked really well together. He understood how I work as an athlete. And yeah, we mostly just got along really well. And that was the biggest thing for me is I had a really good relationship with my coach in high school, and I wanted that same relationship in college. So just having that sense of good communication and someone who understood me as an athlete, I would do that over a big Division I school.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't want to get tossed in the mix of it and just get lost in the shuffle we see a lot of guys do these days. And I think that's something that's super overlooked is kids would rather just go get the cool gear than go to a program that might actually develop you a little bit better. You just might not get that recognition of being SEC or Big Ten.
No, absolutely. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I feel it was kind of a thing where I feel back then it was everyone wanted to go D1. It was everyone wanted to make that post and be D1 bound and stuff like that. It was so common. I feel we're starting to kind of slowly get away from that, and kids are starting to realize you shouldn't choose a school because of a division. You should go to a school, like you said, where you feel you're gonna fit in well and it's the right fit for you. So obviously you get to Lee, and obviously I like to do my homework and my research before these episodes. I found an article on Flow Track. Talks about when you first got there, and I'm gonna find the quote. It's a quote from your coach, that says, it sounds he talks about how your first few weeks there, you were struggling to keep up with the top 7 guys. And in quotes, it says from your coach, wow, we got this guy who was a Foot Locker finalist. You expect him to come in and be in your top 3. He's not even in your top 7 in workouts. But then later in the article, it says that you two had a meeting and then you kind of sat down and then you just told your coach, you're like, listen, coach, I'm just a good racer. Like, talk to me about that. Like, just coming into college, like, obviously you're the top guy in your high school, and you come in and you're struggling to keep up with those top 7 guys, but you still have
Yeah.
that confidence that you're like, listen, coach, like, when it comes to race time, I can get it done.
Yeah. We came in, and I like, even for like the whole cross season, I didn't finish like one workout. Like I wasn't able to just finish anything. And going into the first race in September, he was like, I don't know, like you're making me pretty nervous. We recruited you to be in our top 7 or in our top 3, but yeah, I can't even work out the last guys on the team. And I was like, just trust me. Like when I go out there, I can race. And the first meet we ran at Furman, and I was our number 1 on the team. And I ran like 25:10, and he was like, okay, I get it. But it's taken like it took like 3 years for us to like really figure out what works, what doesn't work with training. But I mean, when I say I didn't finish a workout, like we would do like 7 by mile, and I would only get like 2 reps in, and I'd have to stop. So it was like big time struggling for the first few months that we.
Yeah, no, of course. That's actually like that's good to hear, because obviously, I mean, the great things you're doing now, but people fail to realize, like, dude, like this sport is brutal. Like, it's a grind. Like, it takes time to like figure things out with your coach, figure things out within yourself to get to the level you are now. So obviously, like your cross country season, you run well outdoor, and then you run well indoors, and then come outdoor. It was your first outdoor season collegiately. You ended up winning the steeple and the 5K at conference, and you were an All-American in the steeple outdoors. Talk to me about just like kind of getting those first like titles like under your belt and getting an All-American to your name.
Yeah, the GSC was a lot different than it is now. Like 15, like I think I won conference in the 5K in like 15:25. Like that's not even in the same realm of where we're at now. But yeah, we did the steeple. Like first steeple I ever ran, I ran like 9:07. And my coach was like, okay, like this is what you're going to be doing for the next 4 years. What we thought would be 4 years, and now it's turning into 6 and possibly 7. So yeah, the steeple clicked almost immediately, and we haven't really looked back on that.
So then you come back the following year, you win your first cross country title, and then indoor you raced indoor. You didn't race outdoor. Is there a reason why you didn't race outdoor? Was it because of injury or just?
Yeah, we raced. If I can remember correctly, we raced a pretty heavy schedule indoor, and I had like a quad strain that I just like could not shake, and then to the point where I was doing like I can only run for like 5 minutes, and then I had to stop. So we took like 3 weeks off, and then just decided to scratch the outdoor season and just start base building for cross.
So then obviously junior year you win another cross country title, and then you get your first All-American in cross country, where the year before you finished 117th, then you come back the following year and you finish 18th. Like, what would you attribute to that huge jump from one year to the other?
Like I said, like it took us like 3 years to like really figure out what was working. And when I got hurt in the spring, we took that time off, and then we just started like hitting those base miles, and we started figuring out what was working, what mileage was working, and then that just kind of like sprung us right into the cross season, and had some good regular season races, broke 24, one conference. And then, yeah, that race in Pittsburgh was awful. It was like the worst conditions ever. But yeah, I mean, that was like the start of what I thought I could do in Division II. But obviously, like I didn't do better than that in cross ever. But yeah, it was still fun though.
Yeah, so obviously you're 3 years into college. If it seems like now you and your coach are really clicking, you guys have really figured out what works best for you. how we can maximize Christian Noble. And then from your junior year on is kind of where like you start to see like, oh, like boom, boom, boom. It's like you're just elevating every year. You come out your senior year out indoor, you run 14:01 in the 5K, you run 8:05 in the 3K, and then you triple crown pretty much at conference 5K, 3K mile. But then COVID hits. So it seems like man, like you were in such good shape, you were trending upward, and then this random pandemic comes out of nowhere and just kind of puts a
Yeah.
stop to your season. Like, how did you feel about that? Because obviously you didn't even get to race indoor nationals because of that, and obviously didn't get to race outdoor or the following cross season.
Yeah, that was an interesting time because I think I was ranked first and second going into nationals, which is like kind of a joke now looking back on it where we're at in D2. But yeah, I mean, I was ready to go in and try and compete for one or two NCAA titles, and then the pandemic started and it shut everything down, and we decided to take that break. And those next few months were like pretty awful because we didn't know, if or when we were going to be able to race again. Outdoor, there were really no outdoor races. And the first outdoor race wasn't until like July, and it was mostly just pros.
Yeah.
We didn't even know what we were going to do for cross, but cross ended up going pretty well. We ran 3 races, ran like 20, 23 in one of my races by myself. And that season specifically, I feel like really like took us into the indoor season where I ended up breaking records. I just think that cross country season was like super crucial to my confidence to know like I can run really well by myself because I ran all 3 races by myself and ran really fast in all 3 races. So yeah, I think the pandemic was like bad at first, but like I think it was probably the biggest thing spring loading me into was probably one of my best indoor seasons. I mean, except for this year.
Yeah, obviously. So let's talk about that 2021 indoor season. That was kind of like your breakthrough, pretty much. Like that's when you like got on the scene, and it was like I'm Christian Noble, and I'm here to like make some noise. Like obviously, you opened up your season with a 4 flat 0.6, which put you at four all time in D2. And then the following week, it was like a 3 week thing. Cause I remember like being like at school and like following your Instagram. I'm like, holy shit, like this dude is like going for this record. He's going for this record. He just dropped this time. So you're on 4 flat the following week. Okay, so you run 14:37 to break the D2 record. The previous record was a 16-year-old record, which was 13:41. But up to this point, you had never broken 14. And what's funny to me about that is the fact that you literally posted on Instagram and you were like, "Hey guys, I'm going back to Birmingham. I'm shooting for the D2 record," and you pretty much made it public. It was kind of like a, "Here we go, I'm doing this," but you've never broken 14. Where did that confidence come from? Obviously, your confidence, you like you said, from cross season. Obviously, you ran for a flash, so you know you're in shape. But to make that kind of like announcement out in the public when you literally had never broken 14, it's
Yeah.
bold, man.
Yeah. Well, so the fall going into cross season, I ran at Music City, and I had run 13:48.
Okay,
Going into
so
fall,
it was unattached. No, that's why I didn't find it.
yeah. So I had broke 14, but I get what you're saying. Like to most people, it would look like, okay, this guy's just like calling his shot. Who is this guy? But I mean, we had thrown down some really good workouts going into it. Like I said, confidence was super high, and at the time, I mean, we had one guy that we knew that would help pace, and he said he would go 3K, but he only made it 2K, which is fine. But yeah, I mean, calling your shot, I think, is like a lot of like it sets that expectation and it keeps you accountable. And it kept me accountable like at practice and even in the race. Like, all right, you're at that point starting to hurt, but like you said you're gonna do it. So like you're either gonna do it or you're gonna look really stupid and you're gonna have to like own up to it. So yeah, I mean, I like doing that. I think it gets people engaged into like the content that I put out, and I like hearing what people think I can run because I know what I think I can run. So yeah, I mean, I called my shot twice in the 5 and the 3, and I hit them both. But yeah, it's just that expectation. Of
Yeah,
like
of course. Like you said, it keeps you accountable. So obviously that 5K, there was pacing lights. I gotta ask, do those actually help?
you know
Like,
the way
do you
we
even
we
look at them?
got
Do you even notice them?
I literally stepped on the track and they told me like probably 2 minutes before the race, hey, we got the pacing lights and this is how they work. We had no idea. We had a guy pacing and that's all we knew. And then they threw this as, hey, this guy came in and he set this up for us because he heard that you wanted to do this. It was just some like third party company that just showed up.
Yeah.
It wasn't express timing. It wasn't the crossplex. Some dude just showed up and set it up. And like we checked the rule, like they checked the rules, and it seemed fine, and we just went with it. So, but yeah, I mean, they use them for a reason. They keep like they gives you some sense of accountability to pace, and yeah, you can look at it, but at the end of the day, if you aren't in shape, you're not gonna even keep up with the lights, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, there's some benefits to using it. I'm not gonna say there's not. I mean, you'd be dumb to say that doesn't help someone, but some people just say like, "Oh, he only did it because of lights."
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask next because there was a lot of controversy around that race because of the damn lights. It was like, oh, like
Yeah.
it shouldn't count as a record, or like it's like
Well,
put an asterisk next to it, or this isn't that. Like, how did that make you feel? Like people kind of discrediting. It's like you said, like if you're not in shape, you're not gonna keep up with the lights. So like obviously you were in shape to run the time, whether the lights were there or not. But
yeah,
like people just on social media and like Let's Run and like just all these media outlets kind of discrediting the fact that you just threw down a 14:37.
yeah. I mean, they check the rules, and the NCAA says we abide by all of USATF rules plus what we have. And USATF states that we allow pacing lights in competition, but there's a section of the NCAA rules that says no electronic devices can be used to help pacing. So in one part they say we can't do this, but they also say that they abide by USATF rules. So they shot themselves in the foot,
Yeah,
and they actually told us that okay, you can keep the time to qualify for nationals, but we're not going to count it as a record.
damn.
So, oh no, it was we're keeping the record, but you aren't allowed to use it for qualifying purposes because USTF CCCA is separate than NCAA.
NCAA,
They
yeah.
keep all the records and they don't care about pacing lights. But the NCAA said you can't use it to qualify. So it was like it took like 6 days before we got it figured out. Um, yeah. So for the 3K, we had Nick Willis come and pace because he was already there. So
No,
I'd say Willis is a little bit more beneficial than pacing lights.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, dude has a crazy track record. Well, yeah, obviously, third week comes around. You're on 751 D2 record. Previous record was 754, and then obviously you go on Instagram again, and the funniest post you posted the picture D2 record 71, and you said, "Dear NCAA, I don't need lights to run fast. Your friend Christian Noble." Talk to me about that and like the reaction they got from the people.
Yeah, I mean they were just I mean they were trying to discredit the time because of the lights. So, you know, the 3K we weren't really I don't even remember if it was even on our schedule to even eyeball the record, but we were like, okay, we got to go do this. So Dave Milner had another meet set up, and we told him, okay, we want to go for the record. And he got Nick Willis and Jeff Thies to pull me through 2K. And yeah, I think it was just like okay, look, I am fit. I don't need lights to do this. So yeah, it was just like more confirmation that like I'm fit, I
Yeah, of
guess, and to
course.
prove I can run these times without lights. So I
So
don't
then
know. It was a
obviously,
fun season
oh
because
no,
D1 they're all running cross, and like that's why I feel like it was like such a big deal at the time because like Division 2 had the spotlight for like a month and a half
yeah.
indoor track. So yeah, it was just a very interesting time for track.
So then obviously, fast forward, you finally get to go to nationals. You double at nationals. You win the 5K, and then the 3K was kind of, or what? The 3K was a battle, or was it the other way around?
They both were.
Yeah,
They
no,
both plus 200.
yeah, I know. I remember seeing the video of the 3K. You kind of came back and had that crazy kick, and then were able to pull off the double. Which honestly, I mean, was a tough double to pull off. Like, how did it feel to finally like after the year before not being able to run on nationals because of COVID? You finally get to go to nationals, and you get your first national titles.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we were really careful going into it because we didn't want to break the records and then not be able to back it up and win both of them. So we were pretty careful with how we trained going into it. And like honestly, like I didn't feel great. Those 3 weeks had a huge toll on me. And I felt pretty awful going into indoor nationals. I didn't even finish my workout that week going into it. I only got like 3 reps in and I had to quit. Um, so like, yes, I was confident because of the things I had run that year, but going into it, I mean, my training wasn't amazing. So we had to just like, we were just trying to be careful and try and like catch up on recovery that we hadn't taken earlier. Um, but yeah, I mean, the 3K and the 5K were insane. The 3K was a mental battle from the start. And then that last lap was insane. I got tripped up, and then we both ran in like lane 2 for like the entire lap because he swung out or he was like trying to push me out, and then it was crazy. And then there was a 45-minute protest period because uh, 3 different schools protested that last lap against me and tried getting me disqualified. So it was like the craziest like hour ever.
So obviously,
But
fast forward to outdoors again. 3K 1500 conference champ, second in the 5K. But this is where you really see like this sport. It has its peaks, it has its valleys. You go to nationals, you double at nationals in the 5K in the steeple, and you DNF both. Talk to me about just like coming off that historic indoor season, and then you have your outdoor season. Obviously, like it's great to run fast in the regular season, but everyone knows championships is when it really counts. And you go to nationals and you double DNF. Like, how did you feel about that?
yeah, it was that whole outdoor season was just a fight because I just totally tanked my body indoor season. And yeah, I ran 8:35 in the steeple in 3:46, but like my shins were like on the edge of breaking every race. I was like wrapped up for every single race I ran. And then at nationals, hitting the barrier, and I like ripped up some cartilage in my knee or whatever. I had like MRIs done, and yeah, it was just tough. And I tried coming back in the 5K. I got like 3K in, and then my knees started flaring up again. But then we took like 2 weeks off, and that was just like a pretty not great summer like mentally, just to like be so high during indoor season and then just be on a constant decline for the rest of the year, basically until cross. I mean, I was not having fun for like the next 8 months after indoor. So, yeah. And then in December, just to make that mental switch coming into this indoor season, it was nice just to like kind of like refocus towards indoor because that's where I feel most confident and that's where I've seen most of my success really. So
So yeah, obviously, yeah, it was obviously like you said, being up all the way at the top and then kind of hitting rock bottom, like it's tough mentally. Like took a toll on you. Okay, so I gotta ask. Obviously, like this past cross country season, you win another conference title. You make it to nationals again. Obviously, not the finish you would have hoped, but I mean, you still had a stellar cross country career at Lee. I have a question because while I was looking, why is regionals always in Florida? Like, does the NCAA want you guys to suffer? Because honestly, dude, I'm from Florida. I've been in Florida my whole life. So humid. It can be hot. It can be a little cool sometimes for those championship races, but there's years when like it's just not cool at all. It's just hot. And this
yeah,
year was like one of those years where like I mean I remember going down to watch the regionals preview meet, and it was blazing out there, and then even regionals as well. So then like what's up with the NCAA sending you guys to Florida every year?
I don't know, man. I think they just assume that's the South. So, I mean, Mississippi College has a great course we could run on. Um, there's courses up here in Tennessee we could run on.
Huntsville has a good course too.
Huntsville, we could run at Huntsville. I mean, there's courses out there, but they choose to just run Florida Southern and St. Leo, and that's it. So, hopefully, they'll open their eyes and see that there's a little bit more courses out there than just Florida.
So obviously, like you said, you hit that reset button going into this indoor season. You go to Vanderbilt. You run your first sub 4 mile. I feel like that's like a barrier you've been chasing. Like up to that point, you've been chasing that sub four. You get your first sub four. You go out there with those Ole Miss boys. You kind of just sit behind, let them pull you. How did it feel to finally like break that barrier of sub four?
It was good. I mean, if you watch the video, there's probably one guy in that race that probably shouldn't have broken four, and it was me. And I was in dead last going into the last lap, and I was like 3:17 or 3:18 on a 300-meter track with one lap to go. So I was like way off pace, off the like 3:15 where I should have been. And I ended up closing in like 41 low, 40 high for 300. Um, and I did not like, I just didn't feel good during that race. And then turns out like I tested positive for COVID like 3 days later. So I think either I had COVID during the time or I was just like on the edge of getting it. Cause like I felt terrible like that whole day. Um, and then yeah, I tested positive. So we were kind of like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Why I didn't feel great. Um, so we knew there was more in there. And I'm glad I got to run the mile again at Boston. But yeah, it took like 2 weeks to recover from that. But yeah, going under four for the first time, something I'll never forget. I think I'm gonna get a tattoo this week of like the number American I was to break four. So
What number was that?
604.
Oh, nice. That's what's up. So obviously, conference comes around again, another triple crown, 5K, 3K mile. Is this something that you and your coach kind of talk about when you go into conference championships? Like, is this like or is this what's the thought process into like tripling at conference? Like, is it like hey coach, I can do it, I want to do it, or is it, or does your coach just say, hey Christian, this is what you're running at conference?
No, I think it's a little bit of both. I need to do it for the points for the team because we want to win a team championship. But I also want to do it. Like I wanted to run the DMR as well, and I also wanted to run the 4x4. So it was like, and that was like those were both serious like thoughts. Like I almost ran on the 4x4 and I almost got put on the DMR. So yeah, I mean, I love doubling and tripling up. That year I ran, I forget what it was, but that first indoor championship we had, I actually ran the mile DMR 3K and 5K, and we won all of them.
Wow.
But then I was just like super, super fatigued after that. But I think I'm in a place now where like I did that triple and I was fine 3 days later. So yeah, I love doing that, and I'm looking forward to doing it at nationals. I think I'm prepared myself over the years of what that feels like. So I don't think, I mean, maybe someone else is more prepared than I am, but I feel like I'm confident in my ability to run 3 or 4 races in a span of 2 days. So
Yeah, obviously. So obviously, let's talk Boston. This happened just last weekend. You going down to Boston. You break a 36-year-old record, man. 356.1. The previous record was 356.74. Like you said, like obviously, like many people don't know these things, but obviously, like you ran your first so far at Vandy. You ran 358, 359, and you said you didn't feel well. You probably had COVID during the race, but people don't know this. So people see 359, they're like, was the point of going to Boston to was that were you shooting to break that mile record?
we just wanted to run a faster mile, but the distance between the mile and the 3K was an hour and a half, and that is as close as it's going to get to what it's going to be like in nationals. I think nationals is like an hour and 15 minutes. So we just wanted to go get 2 hard efforts in and just simulate what that's going to be like, and just to see how well my body can turn around that quickly. Um, but yeah, I mean, I really wasn't shooting for the record. It just kind of happened. And then that 3K, I had no expectations. I just wanted to sit off the leaders and just see how I felt coming through. The pace was supposed to be 4:10 to 4:12, and I was fully committed to running through the mile with them. And if I totally blew up, I blew up. But I was hoping to get to that point and say, okay, I feel good. This is good. But we ended up being like 4:16, so I ended up playing a little bit more in my favor to kind of go out slower and then wind it up, which is what we did. We went out in like 4 flat for 1,500 and then closed in 350. So yeah, totally wasn't expecting the 3K though. That was like, I just went out there to see what it was like, and then it happened, and I was like, if you watch the video, I was just like, what did I just do? So
Yeah. So yeah, 90 seconds apart. Obviously, like you said, simulate what nationals is going to be like. So obviously you qualified for internationals, mile, 3K, 5K, and your team qualified in the DMR. But I saw the entries today. You're only in the mile and the 3K and the DMR. Was that always the plan to just do that mile 3K double, or like was there ever a plan? Was there ever a plan that maybe you might do the 5K or not really?
no, we ran the Boston 5K in December coming off that cross meet, and we just wanted to have it in our back pocket. But I think we knew the whole time we weren't going to pursue it. We were going to shift our focus towards the mile and the 3K. And then getting Carson in the winter, and we also realized, okay, we could do the triple with the mile DMR and the 3K. So that was kind of our plan the whole time.
So yeah, obviously, let's talk about just NCAA as a whole this year, like just from Division 1 down to Division 3. Like, dude, I mean, obviously after COVID, we saw that elevation to like a whole nother level where like those Oregon guys running 350 and like guys coming outdoor and running crazy times. But like this year, it's just gone to a whole nother level where it took 150, 406, and 802 to qualify for D2 nationals. Like, what do you think is the reason why? Like, I mean, obviously there's the super shoes. I mean, there's being able to get in meets with professionals, like, and just like there's other factors. But like in your eyes, what do you think are some other reasons why like kids are just elevating their game to a whole nother level?
I think kids are just realizing like especially for like high school, you're seeing kids run 4:03 and under more often. I just think kids are just realizing that like 410 doesn't have to be like breaking 410 shouldn't be like the goal. Like there you can do more. And even in college, like I think this year a lot of people were just wanting to try and break 4. I think it just started happening. Everyone was like, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. So I just think more kids were trying to do it. I don't think it's really, yeah, shoe technology is just always going to be going up. I mean, that's not going to change. You know, we're not just going to stop at some point. There's always going to be something new. And then the other thing is there's a plethora of super seniors. You know, I'm turning 25 soon. I'm sure some of these top guys in Division II, they're 23 years old, almost 24. You know, Olin Hacker of Wisconsin, he's in his 7th year. He's probably 24, 25 years old. I mean, these top guys in NCAA, they are on their way out. And I feel like we're going to see like a recycle of young guys who are going to be coming up. And I think this year is just so crazy. And I don't know if next year will be the same as this year.
Yeah,
So I think expectations are just changing and what's possible for people to accomplish. I mean, for me, it's just like I wanted to break 4, but now it's like, okay, I ran 356. Okay, what's next? Like, I think I can run 353 in a couple of weeks. Like, we're shooting for 335 in the outdoor season. I mean, who knows what's possible? It's just, I think less people are just scared of trying than not trying.
Yeah, no, of course. So obviously, I don't want to get too ahead. You still have indoor nationals to take care of, but obviously, upcoming outdoor season. Are there any goals or any records you're eyeing to break potentially? And I gotta ask, you've never run a 10K before, right?
I've run one. I ran it at conference. I ran the triple at conference. I did the 3K steeple, 5K, 10K, and won all 3 back in 2018 or 2019. I forget. But I ran like 32:50. But yeah,
So
I mean,
just
I'll run
not
a
a
10K.
just not a 10K guy. You rather stick to the 5K, 3K.
I'm just having too much fun in this other stuff right now.
I
I mean,
feel
one
that.
day I feel like I could have a lot of fun and see a lot of success in that. But at the moment, I want to keep having fun, and I'm having fun in this stuff, in the steeple, and in the 15 and the 5K. And I don't want to switch that up quite yet. Um, One day though, I feel like I will.
Of course. And then before we get into some questions from the fans that they submit on Instagram, I gotta ask, dude, you guys you like you said, you picked up Carson and you just recently picked up Ezra. Like, what does that mean to like Lee University? And also, like, what does it mean to you? Because you did say earlier, potential 7th year. What do you have eligibility in? Like how would you mesh with these guys if you were to come back and run another year?
Yeah. I kind of want to clarify. We didn't really pursue these 2 athletes. They actually came to us. And we were like, oh yeah, like we can make that happen. And we actually have a third big time recruit that we're talking to right now, transfer. I won't say who, but if we get him next year, it would be like, I would probably come back for outdoor next year. It'd be pretty insane. But yeah, it's gonna be huge for the team. You know, Ezra's got cross country, indoor and outdoor. Um, I don't see why Ezra can't win a cross title for us in the fall, and um, super excited to see what he does for the program. And I hope I'm around to at least train with him. Hopefully, I'm still in town to do that. So
No, definitely. I'll definitely let D2 burner account know to keep an eye out for that third recruit you guys might be getting for sure. So then we got some questions from the fans. I'll just ask these real quick. Um, Someone wants to know, what did you do in that hour and a half between the mile and the 3K at Boston?
yeah, I tried to get some water in me. I kind of just walked around for a bit right after, called my coach, and then I did like a 3-mile jog in between, like right in that fine area of like cooling down and warming up. So it was like I ran a mile and a half, then I kind of like chilled for 5 minutes, and then I ran another mile and a half with a buddy who was warming up for the 3K. So yeah, I just was trying to test something I've never really done, something like that. And I think that's probably what I'll end up doing for indoor. Had like 2 packs of fruit snacks, so probably contributed a lot to that. Success as those fruit snacks saved me. But yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do except for get fluids in you and try and snack on something, and then just move your body. Just don't get stiff. And
No, absolutely. You can probably guess who this question was from, but it says, "Was it nice having Coach Flatford there with you? Is that what helped you push through?"
yeah, Coach Flatford was pretty big time. He's like he's one of my best friends, so it was just fun having him there on the trip, and we get each other. And like when he talks to me during the race, I'm able to like see that. And especially in the 3K when it got really tough, I started like bobbing my head back and forth, and just him telling me, keep your head straight, keep your head straight. The moment I did that, it was like, okay, I can win this because I feel like more relaxed now. So we just get each other, and he's like been huge for the team.
So someone else asked, "Why do you think it's harder for lower division athletes to get the same recognition and attention from the media as D1 athletes?"
That's a good question. I mean, it. You can say that about a lot of things. I mean, why do we talk about Power Five football? I mean, it's Power Five football. You want to talk about it. You don't want to talk about Division 2 football. I mean, it's the same thing when you talk about track. You want to talk about Oregon and Colorado and NAU and Washington. Um, you don't want to talk about Lee University because more than likely, when you're talking to someone about track, they're not going to know who Lee University is. They're going to know who Stanford is. They're going to know who Oregon is. Um, I just don't think Division 2 is relatable to a lot of people, and I think only Division 2 people can relate to it. And Division 3 and NAIA, we like are in our own special like group of like we all respect each other and what we're doing. And then Division 1, they're up there. And I mean, you got to give them credit. I mean, they are, and I'll even say it, they are significantly above the standards of what Division 2 is. I mean, they have 90 guys breaking 4 minutes in the mile, and we have 4. I mean, you can't say that it's not better because it is. But I don't know. I mean, I wish there was more recognition. I'm thankful for the recognition I've gotten, and I'm thankful for the people who shout me out or, give me props on social media. But I feel like there should be more recognition for Division 2. I think it's trending upwards. And I feel like in the next 5 to 10 years, we'll see like Division 2 like change drastically.
No, absolutely. I agree with that. So someone said, when you have throughout your career, when you sustain any injuries, how do you recover from them? And what do you usually do to stay injury free when you have these like record breaking seasons?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just doing the little things and prioritizing recovery, whether that's like I go to see the trainers every day and I'll be in there for like an hour, whether that's rolling out or getting heat and stim before a workout or getting ice afterwards, going to sleep early. Um, it's just, you just got to like make the effort to prioritize like, okay, the biggest thing for me is I always ask myself, why am I doing this? Okay, so I'm going to the training room because I need to get my legs warmed up for the run or for the workout. Like this is going to be beneficial and I should do this. And for the first few years, I didn't do that. And like that year that I went into like breaking records, that was like the first year where like I was really showing up early to practice to do dynamic stretches to warm up. Um, so just like being on top of like the little things, and then if you do get hurt, which I mean it happens to everybody, no one, injuries don't discriminate against anybody. So when that happens, you need to take the appropriate amount of time. Don't rush back, or else it's going to recycle and you're going to get hurt again, and then more things will flare up. So just be patient and do the little things and make sure you're getting your recovery in. And yeah, I mean, that's
So then,
basically it. It's like super cliche answers, but I mean,
no, of course, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. So your teammate Aiden Rodriguez asked, which clan in Clash of Clans would win a 4x mile?
I think he knows which clan would win. We got a pretty stacked Clash of Clans. We've got me and Shane Straish, and I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
And then Jonathan Schwinn, and then I forget who our fourth one is. We'll just throw Adon on it. But yeah, I think we'd have a pretty stacked 4x mile if we wanted to run it at Penn Relays or something. We got like 3 sub-4 milers and then like a 4O's guy. So.
Oh yeah, I mean Jonathan Schwinn, he just won ace on an 800 149. I mean Shane just broke the American record in the 1K. Yeah, that's definitely a good clan for sure. I think you guys have a good shot.
Yeah, we might have the fastest clans out there. So,
last question that a fan asked: you get to pick 2 pizza toppings for the rest of your life. What are you going with? Sauce and cheese are excluded.
Sauce and cheese are not okay. Probably pepperoni and green peppers.
There you have it. So I like to do this at the end of every episode. It's like a speed round. I have like 5-6 questions, kind of running related. Just kind of give me the first answer that comes to your head. Let's get to it. So favorite shoe all time to train in?
Ooh, probably the Asics Gel Nimbus Lights.
If you could win the Olympics in any event, what event would it be?
Steeplechase.
What's your favorite distance to race?
Right now, the mile.
Favorite professional runner to watch race?
Probably. Oof, that's a good question. Probably Cole Hawker, just because like he just looks so pure to watch him race.
He's new on the scene. He's kind of taking over slowly. Okay, favorite place you've ever raced at? It can be a track, complex, it can be a cross course, indoor track.
I raced at Mount Sac my freshman year. That was pretty fun.
And then last question before we end the episode is there a potential of seeing Christian Noble running professionally in the future?
Yes, there is. Yeah, we got some stuff in the works. So.
Perfect. That's all the people need to know.
Oh yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate your time. This was a great conversation, and I just want to wish you best of luck at Indo Nationals.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on here.
No problem.